Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, red desert. The sky is a muted orange, the air thin and frigid, the landscape stark and empty. But as you take a deep breath and look out across the Martian plains, a different image begins to form in your mind. Picture a world not so different from Earth, a world once rich with life-giving waters and a climate not entirely unlike our own. This is the Mars that existed billions of years ago, a place where rivers flowed, lakes shimmered under an orange sun, and the potential for life was as real as it is here on Earth. A world not yet touched by time's cruel hand. This is the story of a world that was once alive and the mystery that still captivates our imagination today. Long before Mars became the cold, barren wasteland we know today, it was a planet of promise, a world bathed in the warmth of a thick, protective atmosphere. Liquid water streamed across its surface, carving deep valleys and filling ancient basins that we now call lakes. It is here, in these ancient waters, that the story of Mars' potential to host life begins. In these waters, the building blocks of life could have formed, just as they did on Earth millions of years ago. The geological evidence we have gathered through our rovers and orbiters speaks volumes. From the patterns of ancient riverbeds to the minerals that form only in the presence of liquid water, we have discovered a world that was alive with potential, a world that, in the distant past, could have supported life. As scientists examine the rocks and soil on Mars, they find signs that liquid water once flowed freely across the surface, filling ancient rivers, lakes, and seas that may have existed for millions of years. It's a tantalizing possibility that Mars was once hospitable to life. But then, as all stories go, something changed. The warm, life-sustaining atmosphere that once enveloped Mars began to fade, leaving the planet exposed to the unforgiving forces of space. The sun's rays, once filtered by a thick, protective atmosphere, began to strip away the gases that held in Mars' heat. Without a magnetic field to protect it, the planet's atmosphere began to dissipate, and with it, the very conditions that had once allowed liquid water to flow freely. The Mars we know today, the cold, dry, barren world, was born from that ancient shift. And yet, in the ruins of its former self, Mars holds the key to an extraordinary question. Was there life here? Did life ever take root on the surface of this dying planet? Perhaps the most profound question we can ask about Mars is not simply whether life ever existed there, but whether life could have thrived despite the changes. Could Mars, with all its initial promise, have seen the rise of life as we know it? Or did it succumb too quickly to the forces that changed its environment forever? The answer remains locked in the dusty soils and ancient rocks of Mars, and we, humanity, are the ones tasked with unlocking those secrets. Our rovers are like modern-day explorers, sent to unravel the mysteries of this once hopeful planet. Every sample they collect, every image they send back to Earth, is a small piece of a much larger puzzle. Could there be microbial fossils hidden in the layers of rock beneath our feet? Could the ancient Martian lakes hold remnants of microbial life, locked away for eons, preserved by time's embrace? The possibility that life once flourished on Mars is not just a scientific question, it is a profound exploration of our own existence. Imagine that beneath the desolate surface, life may have found refuge, hidden from the harsh rays of the sun, insulated from the cruel winds of space. Could there have been a time when life on Mars didn't vanish with the retreating waters, but instead sought shelter beneath the surface, where warmth from the planet's core might have kept things alive in secret? We know that life on Earth can thrive in the most extreme environments. From the sulfur-rich volcanic vents deep in our oceans to the frozen, oxygen-deprived caves on the surface, Earth's life forms have shown us that survival is often possible in the most unexpected places. Perhaps on Mars, life found its sanctuary underground, where geothermal heat could provide the energy needed for survival. Imagine a Martian ecosystem, not unlike the deep-sea communities of Earth, where life flourished in the dark, insulated from the hostile surface. This idea isn't just science fiction, it's grounded in the principles of life's incredible resilience. Mars, with its once mountainous landscapes and underground water sources, could have hosted its own version of these hidden ecosystems, safely tucked away in the depths of the planet's crust. If such ecosystems did exist on Mars, if life did indeed find a way to survive beneath the surface, then what does that mean for us? It means that life, whether here on Earth or on distant worlds, might not be so rare after all. The discovery of life, no matter how small, on Mars would be a monumental breakthrough, confirming that life is not unique to Earth. And this realization would not only change the way we view other planets, it would fundamentally alter our understanding of the cosmos itself. Could life exist elsewhere, on planets orbiting distant stars? Could there be worlds out there that, like Mars, harbored life in their distant past, or perhaps still do? The search for life on Mars is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. It is a question that extends far beyond our own solar system. It asks us to consider the vastness of the universe and to ponder whether life, in all its infinite forms, might be more common than we ever imagined. Could there be countless Earth-like planets scattered throughout the stars, waiting for us to find them, each with its own story of life waiting to be told? The search for life on Mars is, in essence, a search for life across the universe. And yet, there is more to this journey than the scientific pursuit of life beyond our world. The story of Mars, of a planet that once could have harbored life and now lies silent and lifeless, is also a story about us. It is a story about the fragility of life, about how delicate the balance is that sustains us. The demise of Mars is a warning, a stark reminder that, just as a planet can lose its atmosphere and water, so too can Earth. Mars stands as a monument to the fate that could befall any world, including our own. The journey to Mars, the exploration of its surface, and the search for life are not just scientific missions. They are existential ones. They speak to the core of what it means to be human, to explore, to discover, to seek understanding of the universe and our place within it. As we stand on the threshold of human exploration of Mars, preparing to send astronauts to the surface of this distant world, we are not just taking our first steps on another planet. We are learning about ourselves. We are learning about the delicate balance of life, the resilience of life, and the preciousness of our own home. And as we look to Mars, our closest planetary neighbor, we find not just a distant world, but a reflection of our own future. Mars is not just a place to explore. It is a mirror to our own existence. It shows us how fragile life can be, how easily it can be lost, and how much we must do to protect the delicate balance that sustains our own world. The story of Mars is not just the story of a dead planet. It is a story of life itself, of the questions that we all must ask, and the future that we must shape before it is too late. One day, we may live on Mars, just as we live on Earth. But the journey to get there, and the lessons we learn from Mars, will guide us in our quest to preserve life on our home planet. For as we reach for the stars, we must also reach deep within ourselves to understand how fragile and precious the gift of life truly is.